for an ordinary human being who's anyone less than a Shaktivesh avatar, they probably would have given up as soon as they were put in the YMCA hotel and asked to cook in a place where there's a refrigerator full of meat, fish, and eggs. Srila Prabhupada was so gracious, he was a guest. Srila Prabhupada said that Gopal Agarwal's father actually several times asked him to get this permission for sadhus, but none of them ever came. So Gopal knew for sure this is just another one. But then he gets a letter, I'm arriving on this date. I remember we had a wonderful festival at Butler, Pennsylvania that was held at the YMCA Hotel, and both Sally and Gopal Agarwal came to share their experiences. Were you there for that? Nitai Prabhu arranged it, Nityodita Prabhu's nephew. And they had a whole pile of the original letters that Srila Prabhupada was writing to them. And they were sharing so many beautiful memories. Yes, Prabhupada was YMCA hotel, the other guests there were not at all like him. He walked a mile to go to cook. Srila Prabhupada never said anything to them to make them feel guilty or bad. Srila Prabhupada cooked a wonderful feast for them for lunch, and they liked it so much, the whole family. And Srila Prabhupada said, this is strategic planning at its most transcendental, best essence. Srila Prabhupada said, if you clean out your refrigerator so I could put all these nice food in it, I will cook for you a feast every day. That's how he solved the problem. They didn't need food anymore because he was going to cook for them every day. So they cleaned out the refrigerator, and Prabhupada didn't have to touch it. It was all sent somewhere else, and Prabhupada had the kitchen to himself. But the price is he had to cook for the whole family. And Sally Agarwal was just an American lady, Christian lady, and we have all seen the videotapes that Vishaka Prabhu and Yadubar Prabhu have taken of her in their wonderful films about Srila Prabhupada's life. How much we owe to Vishaka Prabhu and Yadubar Prabhu. So much of what in the photographs, in the videos or films, practically whatever the world has, so much of it is they were empowered to give us by Srila Prabhupada himself. It's like those few very special devotees that Srila Prabhupada gave entrance into his inner circle. He entrusted them to share what they were being given with the whole world for all generations to come. We have seen Her Grace Yamuna Devi's book, Shama Sundar Prabhu's book, Mukunda Maharaj's book, Gurudas Prabhu's book. So many, Malati Prabhu, so many of her recollections and her wisdom. Tamal Krishna Goswami's book. So many of these devotees who were in that inner circle, Jai Patak Swami Maharaj, what they had experienced with Srila Prabhupada is there for the whole world, for all generations to come. It's not that they were just there because they liked to be with Srila Prabhupada. They were there because Srila Prabhupada was entrusting them with something for the world. Vishaka Prabhu, Yaduvar Prabhu, their videos, their films, their photographs, their recordings is one of the most intimate treasures in all of our lives and will be for the future generations. Sally Agarwal says in one of the films, she becomes very emotional, that Srila Prabhupada was such a gentleman and was the nicest man she ever met in her life. He treated her like his own daughter. How much she loved Srila Prabhupada. And during that reunion, which was the first ever like that, they led a Harinam Sankirtan procession from the YMCA to the room they were living. Exactly the same way that Srila Prabhupada would walk every day back and forth. And I remember it was raining that day, but it was our only chance. So we were walking, and we got to it was actually just a row of many rooms. There were apartments. It was a ground floor, and there were many, many apartments, one after another. And they pointed to the door, and there was a parking lot, and we were having Harinam, and we were singing and dancing. And one of the highlights was Gopal Agarwal went into the middle of the kirtan and began to dance in ecstasy. And Sally was laughing and crying uncontrollably. And I said, something wrong? She said, my husband has never danced in his life. And it was actually very special. And then we went to the door of the place because they weren't living there anymore. They moved out of that place years before. And devotees were so intoxicated with the moment. They knocked on the door. And these very fortunate people, they didn't know anything about anything. They're just, watching television. They open the door, and there's about 150 devotees right up at the door screaming, and the murdangars and kartals and wampers and screaming, and they're all looking inside, and they opened the door and immediately closed it. Devotees wanted to ask him for a tour. But they were not receptive. And Sally Agarwal told me one of the most heart-rending, heart-melting, emotional experiences of her life was when Srila Prabhupada told him he was going to New York City. Because for Sally, she saw on a physical level, Srila Prabhupada was such a vulnerable person. he really knew nothing about the customs of America except what she was teaching him. When she was vacuuming the floor, Prabhupada just heard this, and he comes out and, what is it? She said, he couldn't, what is this? What are you doing? She said, this is the way we clean our floors. Srila Prabhupada said that this is a waste of energy. All you need to do is go like this. And Prabhupada was washing his clothes in the bathroom and flooding the whole house because he thought it was unclean to put your feet in the bathtub. So he was taking his baths by filling the bathtub and taking a lota, a little cup of water, and putting it, and all the water would come out. And she said, "You're flooding my house, Swamiji. What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm taking bath." She said, "You're supposed to stand in the bathtub." Srila Prabhupada looked at her like she was uncivilized. And Prabhupada was washing, she would hear, you know how Indian people on the bank of a river wash their clothes by beating it on rocks? He was doing that, and she was thinking, what's going on in my bathroom? He said, I'm washing my clothes. She said, this is not how we do it. She took him to a laundromat, and he was seeing all these clothes going, and he just thought it was, he would laugh. How people are utilizing all their human intelligence to invent all these machines that all you have to do is go like this. But anyways, it endeared Srila Prabhupada so deeply to her heart and soul. And then when he said, I'm going to New York City, he had no money. He had one contact, a Dr. Mishra, who he never met before. He wasn't even really sure if he was going to help him. And when Srila Prabhupada got on that bus from Butler, Pennsylvania to New York City, the way she was speaking to me, Sally Agarwal, was quite similar to the way Vrindavan Chandra today was speaking to me when he was going off on the Jaladuta. Will he live?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,